All right, so this is going to be the first scouting trip of the year. Welcome to Garrison Speed and Outdoors. Mostly been the speed stuff so far. Well, hunting season is approaching, so we're going to start trying to get some permission spots. I had a good permission spot a couple weeks ago, and some stuff come up with the neighbors here nearby my house in Mississippi. But I'm really trying to potentially find a place to do some hunting this weekend for velvet season. That's something I've never really did here in Mississippi. And also I want to do more hunting in Mississippi this year, just because I'm looking for a spot where I got a pretty relaxed job right now in the Army, so I'm going to be getting off pretty early in the evening, so potentially could probably hunt like every evening this season. So trying to plus up the hunting spots. I got 6 acres here at my house in Vicksburg that we're going to be hunting. I had some nice bucks on last year. But the spot we're going to look at today was my old boss here where I work at Mississippi with the Corps of Engineers. Got permission from her. It's a 45-acre tract. I'm going to go out and take a look at that. Looks really good on Onyx. It's very open, but there's one corner that I think it's going to be really, potentially a really good spot next to our lake, where there's a big block of land with the neighbors. So we're going to go out, put some corn out, and just run a camera for the next week or two and kind of see what pops up. But I think potentially this could be definitely a big buck heavy location. So we'll see today. I'm going to bring you guys along because it's kind of the first video of the year. Transitioning, not really transitioning from the hot rod stuff. If you guys are here from that, it's still going to be just as much hot rod stuff. Still going to car shows, still going to cruising the coast, but kind of my introduction into the hunting part of the channel. And got a lot of big trips planned this year. A couple of trips to Kentucky, a couple of military base hunts in places I was stationed before. Mississippi, Louisiana, my farm in Alabama. There's going to be a lot of hunting content. So for you guys that are into that kind of stuff, go ahead and jump on the channel. And if you like car stuff, we're going to have a lot of that stuff here too. But as always, subscribe, share the channel. But here we go.
In 2 miles, take exit 11 toward Bowhunting.
Alright guys, we're almost there. I'm liking what I'm seeing so far with the terrain. Pretty open spot where I'm going to be hunting, which is a good thing right now because the area I'm hunting behind my house, I basically am terrified to go down in there right now. I usually don't worry about snakes, but it's so thick down behind my house at the area we're going to be hunting there. I really never think about snakes. You know, lived in the South my whole life, and I've seen very few rattlesnakes, but I saw about a 6-foot rattlesnake the other day up by my house, and ain't gonna lie, a little freaked out about it. So this will probably be good for the beginning of the season to get in here somewhere where I ain't gotta worry about getting snake bit. All right, so got the truck parked, brought my setup out here. I think I'm just gonna do a ground blind here initially, because I'll probably be bringing my youngest out here with me some, maybe even my oldest. But there's only one horse in this part of the pasture right there. But I gotta figure out what I want to do. The road runs right down through here, and then there's a patch of woods that comes around, and basically this entire thing is one big open pasture out through here. I already see a rub. I literally just walked over here, so that's promising. A rub right there. And this looks like, yeah, I'm really thinking this patch of woods here, it's only about probably 50 yards wide at its widest point. It's decently clear in there, and my friend that owns this, she's wanting to kind of clear this out anyway. So in my mind, I think what I'd like to do is maybe set up over here on this side of the fence somewhere maybe tuck back up in some of this where it's real thick, and then see if I can't clear out enough where I can shoot forward. And then also, if one comes out through here from this big block of land on the neighbors and jumps over, I can shoot across. So I think that's going to be the plan. We're going to have to find our way on the other side of this fence here and get some work in. But pretty good looking spot. Looks like where the deer are crossing over into the pasture, but the fence is kind of high right there, and I'm not a deer, so the low spot in the fence right here. So I'm thinking I'm gonna do some clearing right in here where I can, this would be a good spot for me to come in and out of. So I'm gonna get this cleared out and we'll get back with you. All right, so here's first tip. When you're coming to a new property and you're trying to do a certain thing, right, which is for me having access to get from the pasture where I'm gonna park into make access to where I'm going. So we've made access now, right, at this low point. And we're looking at putting our blind down that way to be able to watch out here and see this corridor. What you got to keep in mind is everything that you're doing to gain access to an area that the deer are already accessing, the deer are going to do the same thing. So now what I'm hoping will happen is the deer as well that we're going to come to this pasture anyway will now cross here where I've made this at instead of right down there, which is going to be right on top of me, and put the deer right on top of me when they're coming out into this. So everything you do, you got to kind of think steps ahead in everything you do and how it's going to affect what the deer are doing. So, I mean, I'm no professional hunter, but, you know, I've been doing this since I could walk. So these are things that I've picked up on that I wanted to share with you guys. So we came in way back in there. There's the pasture that we were talking about. It's a random shed down here, kind of weird. There's a crossing down there and a bunch of really thick stuff up in there that I'm sure big buck traffic is going to be coming out of. So I want to be able to shoot that, but looking right here, it may not be showing up real good on camera, but there's tracks everywhere right here, and there's a top rung of the fence is gone here. As you can see, one of her ponds is right here, and she says she doesn't see a lot of bucks or a lot of deer on the pond here, and I'm guessing that's probably because they're accessing it right here at this corner, getting a drink, and they're hopping back over. So this is definitely going to be the area I'm trying to target the most. But in saying that, I'm going to have to be tucked into here somewhere enough to where I can stay out of this lane. All right, where they're probably walking right down the side of the shed here. A lot of tracks. So I got to stay far enough back away from that I'm not going to disturb that. But I do think most of the traffic is going to be coming down and around. So what I'm thinking about on that is right in here, there's so much poison oak in here, I'm glad I wore boots. Right in here, this main trail, probably spider web, probably right in here. See this trail, and they got it wore down pretty good coming in and out of here. It's really evident up there in the leaves, but right here is kind of the mouth, right? This is the decision point of when a deer is going to turn, go down through here and cross, and he's going to turn and come up here and cross over and get water, or vice versa, coming from either of those directions. So kind of this spot right here where this dead stop is like the main point I want to be able to shoot. because regardless, I should get a shot on one right here. There's a house right over here. But this goes across, and there's literally a giant patch of land right there, and there's a giant patch of land right there. I say giant, a lot bigger than what we got here. So I think this is going to be more of a corridor than an area that's holding deer. Now this back in here, this really thick stuff around the backside of the lake, definitely probably holding some deer. But this is the corridor. This is where we want to be. So let me think through this and figure out where I want to set up the blind and where I want to set up the camera. Camera's probably going to be right around here because I think this is going to get the most traffic. But we got to figure out where we're going to put the blind to be able to shoot this. I'll be right back with you. Okay guys, so we got the first part of the equation worked out. This is where the blind's going to be. Kicked out a spot here. Got everything cleared off. I'm going to have this field to my left. So I want to be able to clear out a spot where I can at least have a chance at a shot out there, but I'm less concerned about it now that I get in here and see what I'm looking at in here. I think this is going to be where we get the big buck at. So this is where I'm going to be. So we'll get the blind up here and get it set up. You can see my bag right there. Straight out from me. That's probably, from the blind here, would be about a 25-yard shot. The spot where they're really kind of going to be right on me is right here. They're probably going to be within, in this opening here, once I clear it out, probably going to be possibly within 20 yards, around 20 yards. And then from that shed, I should have brought my rangefinder with me. It was a rookie mistake. But from that shed down to where I was talking about shooting down there is 40 yards. So I'm thinking it's probably 40 yards to where it gets thick over there on the fence line. So that's a makeable shot. And like I said, right in here is our target zone. That's where we're looking to make the kill. So I'm going to set this blind up, and then we're going to start clearing some of this out, make some shooting lanes. All right, so we get the blind up, got it staked in. So now, next tip, or at least what I do, something my old man taught me when I was a kid. Before we get into that, this is the tide weed blind. It's the see-through hunting blind. You know, you can't see through the outside, but you can see through the inside. Dude, this thing is absolutely incredible. It is as good, if not better, than any of the name brand blinds that I've ever bought. This company is really going to take off, in my opinion, because, I mean, this blind was, I don't know exactly how much it was. I think it was like $100, maybe less than $100. It's big enough for 2 people to hunt comfortably. I mean, I've gotten this blind with my oldest son and my youngest, my little one, with me. Plenty of room. It's good for kids because kids like to see, right? You know, they're going to be in the back with their iPad or whatever, phone. But if they can kind of look out and see what's going on, trust me, Dad, for the dads out there, they're not a sponsor. I don't get a dime from them. I don't get anything free from them. Tideway, if you're out there, though, and you want to give me a free blind for shouting you guys out, send me one. But for all the dads out there, trust me, see-through blinds where it's at. Keep your kid a little bit more engaged and off of your back about what time are we going to eat and when are we going home. So we got that set up. I'm going to shoot in lane here. We're pretty good here. Probably cut a couple things. And I want to be able to shoot obviously right there, which is probably where we're going to put our corn initially. Before all you guys get on me, I already know I can put corn on the ground now, but I have to have it up in a trough feeder or something before season starts or before I hunt it. And I'm already aware of that. I already ran that by the game warden. We stay legal here. So I'm going to cut all this up and we'll give you guys an after shot of what we're looking at. All right, so we got our camera set up. Our blind is there. And then here's kind of that why I was talking about. Get some corn throughout here. We'll get out here the next time when we come to hunt. Get us some kind of trough feeder here up where we're legal to actually hunt this spot. Yeah, they're going to be coming right down through there. Get the blind set up there. Camera set up here. We went ahead and turned it on. That way it'll take some pictures of us here while we're working. I can look at my phone and make sure I'm looking at what I want to look at in the pictures, which is very important. I don't know how many times I've set up a camera and then I get back home and I get a picture of a deer and I'm looking at the tips of his antlers, or I'm looking at his feet or whatever. So it's another tip. If you're using a cell camera, you know, it doesn't really help out with an SD camera, but if you're using a cell camera, set it up, and while you're walking around clearing some spots out, you know, get some pictures of yourself standing where you're trying to spot the deer at. Check it out. So I realized from talking to you guys before that I didn't really finish my point of what I was talking about my old man taught me. So my old man mostly just hunts from the ground when especially if he's in a new area. I mean, we got stands and shooting houses on our 200 acres, but other than that, if we're public hunting or something like that, especially if he's hunting with a gun, and I've got him big into crossbow hunting, which is pretty cool because my dad's never been a huge archery guy. Alabama, Mississippi in general, it's a rifle hunting state. I mean, we got the longest deer rifle seasons in the country. I mean, Alabama starts a little earlier than Mississippi in parts. So if I hunt starting, you know, I hunt a lot of different states. I lived in Kentucky for 10 years. We're going to be going out to Kentucky and hunting. I mean, I can pretty much hunt starting right around now, early September in Kentucky, through basically the end of February in Alabama and Mississippi, most of that with a rifle. So archery's not as big in Alabama and Mississippi, but something I got into in Kentucky to give me another means. They have special seasons. If you hunt on the bases, you know, Kentucky's a $1 state, but if you're military, you can hunt on the bases, Campbell and Knox, and get an additional tag. You get a bow tag and a gun tag that don't count against your state tag. So that's why I spend a lot of time hunting in Kentucky, because I get $3 just hunting Knox in Kentucky in a $1 state, and then I can get an additional buck at Fort Campbell. So technically I could kill $4 in a $1 state. I don't, and I don't have time to do that, nor does anybody that I know that's on active duty, which is probably why they haven't stopped it yet, because we don't have enough time to hunt anyway. But anyway, I'm going on a tangent. But what I was getting to with the point of my old man is he always hunts on the ground, usually just sits up next to a tree, and his thing has always been, taught me, you know, take concealment away from the deer as you're creating your own concealment. And I'm probably preaching to the choir to people that have been hunting for a long time, but if anybody's new to hunting and you don't have a lot of gear yet, and you're looking at just going posting up on a tree on your grandpa's farm or grandma's land somewhere, you know, gun hunting or crossbow hunting or anything like that, or even archery hunting. I archery hunt from the ground too with a bow sometimes. Take everything that you want to see. So I want to see this area here. This is my shooting lane here. I got a shooting lane there. Everything that I cut, all this debris that I cut, I'm going to take and brush in my blind with. So I'm taking concealment away from the deer, and I'm giving myself concealment. It's the same thing, especially if you're hunting like up, you know, if I was just going to set up on that tree up there and I was hunting with a rifle, I would come out here and cut all this stuff and I'd make me a ground blind. And you guys will see some of that this year on the channel. I mean, I make ground blinds. I mean, I killed 2 of my 3 biggest deer. I killed sitting up against a tree in a ground blind. One with a crossbow and one with a slug gun. But you guys will see some of that on the channel, and I think that'll be good if you're just starting out to see that. Or if you're, you know, used to hunting stands and you hunt a lot of public and you don't feel like dragging all this shit into the woods with you, which is kind of where I'm at. I have a ton of stands, but sometimes, you know, I just don't want to drag all that junk in the woods with me to hunt one time when I may be moving after that. It's just another way to do things. So let's finish clearing this out and I'll give you guys the final look here. All right, I want to give you guys shot from the blind here. What we're going to be looking at. So that's kind of our first shooting lane. Coming across. Corn's right in there. Coming across another shooting lane. And then I have two main shooting lanes. And then this is just kind of like a little emergency lane that I do. I like to have two sides of a blind that are really good and I can get shots out of. And then the third side, I like to have just a little bit of a strategy. All I have is one direct lane there and a little bit of a lane up in there. But that's for, you know, I got my main area up here. That's for, you know, the one that comes through and he's in there and there's a doe somewhere over here you don't see. He spooks and runs almost out of sight. And when he's making his exit up through there, you got one little window, you know, as an opportunity. Got the blind brushed in. Some of y'all may think this is excessive and some of y'all may think this is not enough. I think this is not enough. This is kind of just the first whack at it. This is everything that I cut today that still had leafy foliage on it. But anybody that hunts on the ground knows, I mean, or really out of a stand, but especially on the ground, you'll know when you come in here the first time and you're taking a look at it, if you don't see anything, you'll probably see, hey, I want to go out here, I'm going to cut this, that's got to go, you know, whatever. That first set, things will always change about what you think about your spot. And they should definitely change if you see a deer, right? And I would definitely tell you that. It's like if you're hunting a big buck and you got a big buck in mind and the first deer you see of the year in a new spot is a little fawn or a little doe or whatever, watch that doe. Watch that doe as she walks through your shooting lanes and you say, hey, could I kill her here? Could I kill her here? All right, I couldn't kill her there because of that one brush. I'd have a shooting lane there if it wasn't for that one little bush. So you go cut that. You know, keep an eye on it. And most of the time these deer are going to do similar things when they come through the woods. But yeah, I always try to, everything I cut, I always try to A, use to my advantage, but B, you want to get it out of there anyway, because if you cut up a bunch of stuff in a place that's kind of overgrown and leave it laying, go hunt that stand that day and watch a deer when it comes through. It ain't even got to be a big buck. Watch an old doe. Watch an old doe when it walks through there, or a big buck, or a young buck. Any halfway seasoned deer, when they walk through and they see a bunch of stuff laying in the trail, laying around on the ground that wasn't there before, watch how they react to it. They'll stop, look around, they see it, they notice it, right? And you can clear too much, right? Don't try to make the most beautiful hunting spot that you've ever seen in your life. This looks really, really good. And if I were to clean out, you know, a little bit more, it'd look perfect. I mean, it would be beautiful. But a deer's not looking for that. A deer's trying to survive. A deer's trying to walk up and down this trail right here and not feel like he's going to get killed. He or she's going to get killed. So you gotta kind of maximize your chances with the least amount of pressure you can put on a deer's senses. That's pretty much it on the advice point. Wasn't really trying to go there with this video, but these are just things that were coming to my mind. And I really don't know. I'm just starting out here with the hunting content. I really should have been filming the last few years. I've put some really, really big bucks down in the last few years that I should have been filming on all these travel hunts and on my home farm hunts. But anyway, guys, this is the spot. If you've watched it this far, I appreciate it. If you're a hunter and you're interested in seeing some of the travel hunts this year, I hunt probably 5 states at least every year, and I'm probably going to up that a little bit this year because I'm in a pretty relaxed job with my Army job currently, and I'm pretty close to retirement, so a little more laid back. So if you're interested in that kind of thing, we're probably going to hunt about 6 or 7 states at least this year. So I'd like to get some hunters on the channel. So if you're a hunter, subscribe. If you're a hunter and you like hot rods, definitely subscribe, because we're very like-minded. We're gonna have a lot of content for you. But anyway, I want to get some outdoorsmen on the channel. The channel is Garrison Speed and Outdoors. I know I haven't did any of the outdoor stuff yet. So here's the first video in the outdoors portion. It's going to be a lot to follow, and I look forward to sharing it with you guys. Randy here from Garrison Speed and Outdoors, out. Over the year. Alright, so now we got everything set up down there with our spot. Pretty hot, pretty tired, but this is something I wanted to share because I think it's something that kind of gets overlooked nowadays with permission spots. Is you never really want to, like, at least myself, I never expect anything for free, right? So this is you know, this is my old boss here. I would consider her a friend, but she doesn't owe me anything, right? It's a privilege to be here, able to hunt on her land for free, right? At least monetarily for free. And it probably would be fine if I would have just came over here and hunted, but in talking to her, you know, she had some stuff that she wanted to clear out. One thing I'm going to clear out is this trail where I'm not scratching my truck every time I come through here. But she's trying to get all of her, she's recently retired from the Corps of Engineers where we worked together, and she's trying to get all of her land here, which is a beautiful place. Beautiful place. She's trying to get it all cleaned up to where it's all usable. You know, I can relate because I got a farm in Alabama that I would like to be doing a lot more with for the hunting habitat and everything else, and kind of buying some land around it and doing some things. But I got about 11 months left before I retire to where I can really focus on that. But she's recently retired, and now she wants to get her land cleaned up and do what she wants to do with it. Catch up on some things, and I can relate to that. So she's got some guys out here that are doing, I guess, training geese dogs. I didn't even know that was a thing, honestly. I didn't even know people hunted geese, to be honest with you. It's just not something I'm privy to. Let me get the camera turned around here for you guys. I'll show you what I'm about to do. So anyway, she's got some guys that are going to come out here and they're doing some work for her. They cut all this brush here. I guess kind of in trade for, she has a lot of geese out here, and they're trying to train geese dogs, I guess. I don't know. Maybe somebody in the comments could tell me what that's all about. I didn't even know geese hunting was a thing. I know duck hunting's huge here in the South, but geese hunting was goose hunting. I mean, I know it's a thing. I guess I didn't realize that dogs were involved, and I've really never come across anybody that does it. So, like, I did know it exists as something people do, but I didn't know it was that prevalent. But anyway, they cut some trees and stuff here, but as you can see, it's kind of scattered, and she's wanting to burn it off and get it out of here, obviously. But in its current configuration, it's not really a thing. So I brought a chainsaw. She brought me some gas down. I'm gonna mix up some fuel and just cut what I can of this up. I'll get the rest of it the next time I come. But that's just something, I know this isn't like really hunting related, but in a way, if you're permission hunting, it is. Just don't expect nothing for free. You know, this isn't your land. And, you know, I've lost permission spots because, you know, I get permission and then a neighbor's like, hey, you know, I don't want him coming on my land. They're like, oh, he's not going to come on your land. But it becomes like a thing with neighbors. And, dude, if you're not helping out and contributing, you're out. The first time that you cause an inconvenience for a landowner, you're out, dude. Like, I'm speaking from experience, and I'm speaking from other friends of mine's experience, that as soon as they have to inconvenience themselves as a landowner in any way because of you, they're going to remove you from the equation. So if you're doing stuff like this and you're helping out and something nitpicky like that comes up, you're a lot less likely to lose that spot. You may still lose it. And if you do, you know, you got what you got when you did for doing what you did for them. And that, you know, that's life, dude. But if you're a little bit of an asset around the place and there's a reason to keep you around, right? There's less chance of you getting run off at the first inconvenience for the landowner because of you. So, and also try not to inconvenience the landowner at all costs. Anyway, I just want to share that part of the process here for sure too. All right, guys, made it back to the house. Got a lot of work done for the landowner before I ended up getting rained out. Happens a lot here in Mississippi. This is kind of my Kentucky room. A lot of the bucks I've killed in Kentucky over the years. Everything in here was killed in Kentucky. So yeah, stay tuned for those hunts. That'll probably be the best hunting content that I do is there. And then I got some pretty good spots. I got an 1,100 acre tract in Louisiana as well that I hunt, as well as on the Fort Polk area. So, but anyway, I got a lot of work done for the landowner. She was very appreciative of everything that I got done. And I think that that's most likely going to be a spot that I have permission to hunt for probably as long as I want to hunt there. So anybody that's priced hunting land lately, as far as like leasing land, I've never did that, but I know a lot of people that do it. I mean, that's a 45 acre tract, and you know, I don't want to give too much away about where she lives, but in what a lot of people consider the best county of hunting in Mississippi. And you know, I got to clean some brush up and whatever I got to do, I'll go over there and mow the yard, you know, whatever I need to do to have that caliber of hunting spot for me and my boys for free. That's a sweet deal on my part. You know, I don't mind getting out there. I mean, my age in the game is probably good for me to get out and get some exercise anyway, because I don't get out and run and stuff with the Army like I used to. Yeah, PT, when you get close to retirement, doesn't happen as much, especially when you work for the Corps of Engineers. Army guys know. Pretty relaxed job. But anyway, guys, like I said, if you're a seasoned hunter, sorry for all the tips and everything, but I just thought that maybe I could help some people out that are just starting, which I say that in my hot rod videos all the time, that that's what it's about, is getting the next generation out and doing it, and getting people that aren't into it out and doing it with the cars and hot rods, which is a lot of stuff on the channel if you're interested in that. But it's the same thing with hunting, right? Hunting is, I mean, I've seen stats for like less than 1% of people hunt, and that's kind of crazy because I feel like everybody I know hunts, but I mean, I guess that's just the circle I run in. But I mean, it's only going to drop further. Yeah, we don't get more people in the outdoors, and the regulations and the politics of it is only going to be less and less favorable to hunters if we don't get hunters in the woods and get the new generation in the position to make decisions and influence decisions. But anyway, guys, first scouting point of the year, second permission spot I've got. I got another real small spot that's probably not really worth a scouting video, but a lot of excitement. Today was the first day that I really started thinking about hunting. It's been mostly on the cars, all of my cars and car shows. We just got back from LS Fest East down in Bowling Green. But being in Kentucky, even being in Kentucky for a car show, definitely piqued my interest to start thinking about deer hunting. Saw some big deer driving in and out there. So we're definitely gearing up to start bringing the hunting content to the channel, and I'm excited to bring it to you guys, and I'm excited to bring all the content, whether it be hot rod content or hunting content, to you guys. So if that's something you're into, one or the other, you know, I just ask, subscribe to the channel, give it a chance. If you watch for few weeks and it's not for you, then unsubscribe. Doesn't cost a thing. Share the channel with your friends if you think somebody's interested in it. Yeah, me and pretty much everybody else you see doing any hunting or hot rodding stuff on the channel are all going to be either active duty or veterans, so you're supporting veterans in a way, I suppose. But anyway, I appreciate all the support. Everybody that's already subscribed, the channel's growing quickly, and I'm excited to bring you guys some great content. So this is Randy here from Garrison Speed and Outdoors, out.